Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for Creative Art 1.5 at Art House 5. I'm Miss Michelle, and today we're going to be drawing a unicorn, or a horse if you don't like unicorns. We're going to go over how to get our animal on the page, how to outline it, and how to get this coloring in. So if you see, we're using a really cool technique to make the hair look shiny, which we'll be going over in the video. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so for this project you're going to need a piece of paper. I'm using a watercolor piece of paper right here. You're going to need a pencil. I have an eraser cap on mine so I can practice my shapes. You can use colored pencils for the actual coloring of your horse. You may need a paintbrush or two. You're going to need some watercolor for the background. And we're going to use some outlining markers for our actual unicorn. So once you've gathered up all these materials, we're ready to get started. So for my unicorn, I'm going to start at the top of the page in the middle, as we always do. And we're going to go down about this much from the page. You're going to go down about this much from the page. And then we're going to go to the left this much, and we're going to put a dot right here. You don't need to make it super dark. Okay, and then from here, we're going to draw a circle. So the circle has to be pretty big because this is going to be part of the horse's head. So I'm going to practice my shape with my eraser. And I think that's a pretty good circle. So once you have your circle in place, we're going to draw out our circle. It's okay if it's a little wiggly for now. This is just our sketch. Okay. Oops. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to need to draw the bottom of the horse's head for his really long snout. So we're going to go down from the side of our circle. We're going to go down about this much, just a little bit under the circle, the bottom of the circle. We're going to go out about this much, so halfway between this end of the circle and the end of the page. So I'm going to move mine about right here. I'm going to put a dot. And right here, we're going to put a smaller circle. This is for the snout of the horse. So once you have your circle in place, and also, you might also want to go over it a couple times. That's totally fine. We're going to draw our circle in. Make sure it's pretty light. Okay. So I'm going to move these eraser sharpies off. And from the top of our circle, this big one, to this circle, we're going to curve and then go straight down to connect to this circle. So it's a pretty straight line from here to here. Okay? And then from there, we're going to go down to the bottom of this circle and go down and out just a little bit, almost in this bottom left part of the circle. And we're going to put a bump. So at this bump, we're going to go up to this circle again. And horses have pretty big jaws. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve out like this. So my horse has a big jaw. Cool. Okay, and then once you have that, you can erase the circle on the inside of the horse's head because you don't need it anymore. So now I'm going to draw the horse's ears. Starting at the top of our head right here, where I still have my dot, I'm going to do a curve out like this. So once you have this curve, horse's ears are kind of pointy, kind of round but kind of pointy. So we're going to curve back out and down to here. and we're going to put a little flap in. If you want to make your ear look like it's on the side of the horse's head, you can have it go down a little bit past the edge of the head. Okay? And we're going to do the other ear. We're going to curve up and out, but make sure it's smaller than this ear. Okay? It has to be smaller. And we're going to curve out and back. Okay? And we're going to put the inside of this ear as well. Cool. Okay, so now we're going to put in our horse's eye. We're going to go down from the ear and go down, 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 about halfway down the horse's face. I'm going to put a dot right there so I know where to start. So horses have really long eyelashes. So you're going to want to draw kind of like a sideways frown or a rainbow. It's going to be the start of the horse's eye. I'm going to make my horse's eye big because I want a really pretty unicorn. But it's up to you if you want to make it big or small. I'd recommend making it bigger. Okay, and then at the bottom, under this frown, we're going to make a smile. It can touch on the left side. It doesn't need to touch on both sides though. Okay. Then we have our circle for the eye. So it doesn't have to be perfectly in the eye. See how I'm going a little bit outside? You can draw the circle like so. And then put maybe a highlight or two in the eyeball. Because when the sun reflects on the eyeball, we have these white spots in our pupils. That's where you can see the light coming into our eyeballs. Okay? You can color it in if you want, or you can color it in later. And then I'm going to add long eyelashes. So the eyelashes only point towards the back of the face. Okay? So they're going to point out and down like this. Okay? Now let's work on our horse's nose. So the nose is going to be on this side of the face, inside the little circle that we drew earlier. So at the end of the nose, go in just a little bit, and we're going to draw a sideways smile. Okay, sideways smile like that. And we're going to curve out like an almond and then in like that. Okay, cool. It's coming together. So the way that my horse looks, I think I'm going to put a little bump on the end here. This is going to show that we can see the horse's side of his face on this side. Just a little bit. His nose is kind of sticking out. Okay? And where our bump meets our circle, we're going to just draw a long mouth like so. Okay, so next we're going to be doing our unicorn's horn. So this part is optional if you want to do a horn or not. But if you want to, find the space between your horse's ears. So my horn is going to go about from the edge of my ear down about here. And I'm going to make a little smile area where my horn's going to come out of my horse's head. Cool. Now I'm going to draw from here a line going out for my horn. So from here, I'm going to measure, 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 put a dot where I want my horn to end. And from the end of my smiles, I'm going to connect to this dot right here. So I'm going to go out to there. And then I'm going to go down So anything inside this horn you're not going to need, so you can erase it. Okay, so now I'm going to put some stripes on my unicorn's horn. So I'm going to make smiles that are kind of at an angle all the way up the horn, like so. And then where each of these smiles touches the end of the horn, I'm going to draw a little curve. This is going to make our horn look 3D, which is what we want. Okay. And any of those little lines in between our bumps, you can erase those. And then I'm going to go over my bumps on the horn again later when we outline. Alright, so now it's time to put some hair on this guy. So actually let's put in the neck first. So we're going to go from where the jaw meets the chin, and I'm just going to draw a curved line going down like that. Okay, and then we're gonna start doing some hair. So the hair, we kind of want it to be really flowy. Let me show you a couple examples. So in this picture we can see that the hair is super flowy. It looks kind of like a wave, right? You can really see that the hair is blowing everywhere. You can also see the same in this one. We got some curls in here. Looks really pretty. So let's try doing some curls. What do you think? I'm gonna try it. So from the end of the ear, I'm just gonna do some wiggly lines. So I'm going to start here at the end of the ear, curve out like that, and then I'm going to curve in. Okay, we're doing the hair in chunks, so we don't want it to be one big piece of hair. We're gonna make a couple different pieces of hair, or a few. So if you want your horse's hair to be curly, you can curl it at the end. Otherwise, you can just go back up, follow your hair up to the top of the head again, and it's okay if it goes outside of the page. Okay, so I have one chunk of hair. It goes all the way up the horse's head. Okay, and you're gonna erase what you don't need inside the horse's head now. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep adding some hair at the end of this horse's head. So I'm going to go up from the ear again and curve out, and I'm going to follow it down, and I think from my measurements it would go down about here. Now I'm not going to make this chunk curly, I'm just going to make it go up like that. And the cool thing with hair is that you can layer it. So I'm going to make another chunk coming out from behind this piece of hair, going out like that. So for the hair, I'm going to give my horse some bangs. So we're going to want to go in front of the ear. I'm going to put some hair in front of the horn and some hair behind the horn, just to give my horse a little bit of flair. So near the front of my ear, I'm going to curl out, curl into the head like that, and then curl back to the ear like that. So since I went over the horn, we don't need the inside of the horn anymore. And I'm just going to keep adding hair. So I'm going to add some more hair here. I'm going to stop at the horn, follow it through the horn, and maybe I'm going to have this one curl up like that. And again, if you don't want to have your hair curl, that's totally fine. You can do some normal little strokes like this. Okay. And I think I might put one more piece of hair back here, just so I have more chunks to color. Okay. and I might have some more hair coming out from the other side of the horse's head. So I'm going to curl up from here and curve back. And I think that's it. Okay, so now we're gonna do some background stuff. If you have a horse, you can make him in a field with some grass or some trees. It's up to you. I'm gonna do a mix of a horse's background and maybe a unicorn's background. So I'm going to start with some sparkles. So sparkles look something like this. You curve in, curve in, curve in, whoops, and then curve in. Okay, we'll practice that again. Curve in, curve in, curve in, and curve in. Curve in, curve in, curve in, and curve in. Nice. And then I'm going to make my horizon line. It's not going to be super straight, but I'm going to straighten it out. And maybe I'll put some texture in the grass that I want to add. Okay. All right, so now we're going to start with outlining our unicorn and our background. I'm using a thin Sharpie pen. You can use a normal Sharpie if you want, but I just really want a thin line. So I'm going to start by outlining my entire horse. We only want to outline the parts of the horse that we need, so we don't want to outline the circle we had here for the snout or the top of the head. We just want to outline what we need. So it's okay to go slow. I would encourage going slow because we have less wiggly lines that way. And with that, we are done with outlining. So the next step is to erase all the pencil lines you see on the paper. I might need a bigger eraser, so I'm going to go grab one. All right, so I got my big eraser, and I'm just going to erase all the lines of pencil that we don't need since we've outlined everything. Alright, and there's our outline. So next we're going to start coloring, but we're going to be doing a little bit of practice. So I'm going to need you to get a piece of paper handy to do some practices on and grab your colored pencils.